And also, we're going to be doing a live stream today, so if you guys can hear me, then feel free to answer in the chat, which, we're going to do another live stream today here on the second channel. And don't forget, by the way, that we, on the other hand, are definitely going to make a live stream today, which yeah, so far we're going to do a live stream on our second channel, so if you guys can hear us, let me know in the chats, by the way, so that way that we'll be able to see you guys' chats to see if you guys are there, so feel free to respond, and feel free to definitely hop right on in and join our second channel, by the way. So, anyway, let's go ahead and turn off the microphone and test it so you guys can hear me a little bit. So, let me go ahead and turn off my microphone and then I'll try to see if you guys can hear me. So let me go and turn it off. Alright, so far microphone is somewhat doing alright, I guess, but I think it's doing okay. So anyways, welcome and welcome to another video. And you guys know who I am, basically, that my name is Devin-Foxy Remastered again. That's right, everybody. Feel free to call me Devin-Foxy Remastered again. So before we get right on and get straight down to business and get straight into this video today, we're going to be doing is a Hangout live stream. That's right, we're going to be doing a Hangout live stream here in the 2026, or should I say in the big 2026 pretty much. So if you guys feel free to join right on in into this live stream, feel free to definitely hop on board and definitely join right in the live stream, and we'll have a lot of conversations, a lot of talks, a lot of everything else. You know that exactly, you know the big deal exactly. So anyways, yeah. So that's pretty much what I want to let you guys know about that today's special live stream we're gonna do is a Hangout live stream, which it's been quite some time ever since we've ever been ever been doing a Hangout live stream for a long time. Like seriously, a long time. But this is just only gonna be on the phone now, since of course this is just actually gonna be on the phone right now. So if you guys do or don't know what I'm actually talking about, by the way, then there's your guys' answers for right now. So, anyway, for this answer alone, by the way, we on the other hand are definitely going to do a Hangout live stream today. And yes, we are definitely going to actually be doing a Hangout live stream right now in the second channel. And I know what you guys are thinking. By the way, by hearing the answer, is that I actually know I'm going to do the Wonder Woman voice. I know I'm going to try my best to do Wonder Woman, even though, like I said, I probably just want to get on with this one live stream I want to make exactly and kind of get on with this, by the way. And also, before anyone does ask me this next question, by the way, is like, oh, when is the next plush characters going to be coming into the second channel? Well, I'll tell you guys what. I did found something very interesting, like, something very much likely DC slash Sega related, by the way. But I did kind of found something pretty cool, by the way, if you guys know what I mean. I found something very impressive and very cool. There's only like four characters, by the way, that were definitely a Shadow, a Sonic, a Knuckles, and then a Silver. So, anyway, if you guys know what I'm referring to or referring what I'm talking about, by the way, I actually did found a few interesting results, by the way, I found were on Amazon the other day. I found was like, wait, seriously? You're telling me that there's plush character versions of themselves while being heroes? That's awesome. And that's legit amazing. That's 100% amazing. Like, that's actually pretty amazing, by the way. That's very cool, by the way, not gonna lie. That's actually pretty cool, in my opinion. That's pretty cool. Which I never really expect to see that as much as I never expected to say is that, man, for once, I might even get those characters. I might even get the superheroes of DC slash Sega characters that I know that's referring to the four characters, by the way, but so far I haven't really named them anyways. I haven't really named them anyway, but I think it would be a pretty cool idea to consider having that on the channel, by the way, is kind of having a considering interesting thought, by the way, an idea by having like, Batman, Flash, and Superman, Green Lantern. Like, seriously, roll up into four. Roll up into four. Where Shadow, like, a different Shadow gets to be Batman, a different Sonic gets to be Flash, and of course, a different Knuckles will get to be Superman, and a different Silver will get to be Green Lantern. Like, how cool and freaking crazy is that? Like, how cool is that? Like, I mean, that probably would work on most of the episode ones. That I might actually consider thinking that would work. You know, in a very interesting strategy, by the way, in a very interesting move and interesting idea, which it would make sense anyway, since I probably would say, yeah, they probably would definitely would side with Sonic and the others, by the way, while actually just pretty much being in their own roles exactly, which of course I know that I'm gonna have to try to name something a little more different, so that way I wouldn't try to confuse people by saying like, hey, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Are you trying to pretend to like get the characters to have like the same powers as that they're doing? Well, first on that, by the way, on this question is that to myself, by the way, for those who might get confused with that, by the way, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I probably would not, because if I were, by the way, yeah, I mean, it would make sense anyway. It would make a lot more times more sense. Which I'm not going to really kind of mention the briefly onto that course, which no, of course I won't, because that probably would be a different topic and that would be a different course. So I'd say that's probably more of a different thing than asking me by saying it's like, oh, is something going to kind of be like that? The answer for my obvious question is that no, I probably will not, because if I did, that probably would be a little bit of a different coincidence. And speaking of that, by the way, let's just say about their powers. I think the only thing I'm going to mention about powers in a second, by the way, is I'm going to be probably much likely be mentioning about powers in the next second. So, about the powers, I'm going to mention first, we're going to start on with Shadow, the other Shadow that would be Batman, which I know that one's going to be a little different, by the way. So, between how Shadow and Batman have different powers rolled into one, let's just say I'm going to try something pretty chaos like and very dark chaos power, a very dark chaos power like the night, by the way, like the ultimate life form in the Dark Knight. Like, think about that for a second. Like, for my example, I'm wanting to come up with a different power with unique powers a little bit between how the two combination roles goes into like Shadow and Batman for a reason that I would say the only powers I might want to give a little bit for like a character I would want to kind of acquire to do is for like the character that would be Shadow Batman or whatever exactly. I can't even probably much would say the name yet, but I probably am just gonna guess to say is like for once like Shadow Batman for some reason like Shadow Batman would actually probably would use like the Chaos Boomerangs, the Chaos Spear Boomerang controls or something like that. I really don't know, but like I said, I'm trying to work on like powers or something like that, which of course I'm trying to work on both a little bit between the shadows and Batman's unique powers, which I think this is going to kind of be like a different role story a little bit, which of course I know this is going to be technically just a different course exactly of, whatever is going to probably be next, which I would be pretty much be uniquely be honest a little bit and just be full on, by the way. It probably would take some time of its course to know the facts a little bit of knowing what could really go on anyways, but I've actually been thinking about this a little bit more different about having a similar role exactly by having like two DNA samples from like pretty much Shadow and Batman, which of course I know this is gonna probably be like I don't know, be transformed into another hedgehog, but first it's gonna probably be like the Shadow Batman that will probably be given into the role, which of course I know I have to use like a copy clone machine, which of course I know I have to probably might be using that DNA and just use all of that probably and just see how that works out a little bit. And the same thing goes to my boy Knuckles and Superman. Like, I mean, we're definitely going to kind of get on with that too, by the way. So, the question about with Knuckles and Superman is that I know pretty much likely that is going to probably be a very interesting choice. It's going to be a very interesting choice. Like, I've actually been thinking about this a little bit, that I think this might be a perfect role for the effect, by the way, to be Super Knuckles Man, Super Knuckles Man. Like, for some reason, I think to some reason and otherwise about the other idea when it's gonna be like, Super Knuckles Man is like, it's like a very interesting power a little bit. It's like a very interesting look a little bit, just to kind of know the facts of saying how interesting it kind of looks. For an example, that I kind of assume to say it would actually be a pretty cool look to say at least exactly. And to be honest with you, by the way, guys, it's actually a pretty cool thing to kind of say, by the way, when it's like something very good, like it's gonna be that good, by the way. Which I have to say, I never am gonna lie, by the way. I never seen like two different powers, by the way, that might be pretty strong. One that can punch through stone, and of course the other one actually knows that is the the Man of Steel exactly. Like Stone and Steel is like a very interesting conversation and a very cool look. So I'd say, yeah, that's actually a pretty good role for my boy Knuckles to actually have the powers of Superman, which is actually pretty sick and it's actually pretty cool. For once, by the way, it is a very cool look exactly and a very unique way of saying how awesome that looks. Seriously, it actually looks good. It actually looks very amazing. Like for once, it actually looks amazing, which I cannot believe to say from my only eyes to say how awesome this looks. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty cool. That's very amazing. Which all I can say to you guys to let you guys know, by the way, that would be pretty sick. For having my boy Knuckles have like the powers of Superman, which of course I know it's going to still be his powers and Superman's, but that would be pretty cool. That would be very amazing. For once, I'd say that would be awesome. Now, the next one I'd say Sonic Flash, or should I say Flash Sonic, or whatever, I don't know. But like I said, in the next part of the question is that Sonic would be in the powers of red. Like, that would have been cool if he was red. For some reason, for him to have Flash powers. That's a very interesting power. Like two different speed powers. Like speed and speed are actually the best ones I ever seen. Like legit saying that is pretty cool thing to kind of like witness for the first time and witness the only time and say, damn, that looks sick. Like that actually looks good for a good reason that yeah, it actually looks pretty good. So if you guys feel free to join in this live stream, then feel free to join in this Hangout live stream because we're going to be doing an amazing Hangout live stream because we're going to be doing all of that exactly. So feel free to definitely hop on into this live stream. And if I were you, by the way, I'd say let's get on with this live stream. Let's do it so that way that we'll be able to have more conversations, which conversations are always better to have because they're always better. So let's get on with the next one, shall we? So the next one we probably would say that yeah, the DNA would be pretty cool for Sonic and Flash to have. Like Sonic would have the powers of Flash, of course that he'll actually have the powers of that by the way. And the next thing of course is Silver and Green Lantern, which I know for once Silver knows how to use telekinesis pretty well from the future. That I actually have been hearing about Silver a little bit from him using the powers of like telekinesis by the way. That's like the coolest power that anybody would use is the power of telekinesis exactly is like the best thing to kind of have right there. So if I was ever a winning man, by the way, and if I were to be a winning man, I'd say Silver and Green Lantern would both have the best powers in the freaking universe. They would have like the best dang powers from the galaxy and future combinations, which that's actually the sickest, amazing looks I would ever would be say to granted to say that is amazing. Like Silver Green Lantern. Oh my god, that would have been cool. Or should I say Green Silver Lantern or whatever exactly. But the names, like I said, are going to be a little challenging, a little difficult to kind of recognize a little bit. And for those who might be confused to that question, well, there's going to be an alternative universe a little bit for that to come back a little bit. Like, let's just say that there is going to be a universe where they're going to actually, have a good conversation with Sonic. Like, the real Sonic gets to meet the Batman, or should I say, Shadow Batman. I'm referring to Shadow the Hedgehog, which I know they look the same exactly, but yes, Sonic would get to meet the Shadow Batman as we speak, by the way. Shadow the Batman Ultimate Life Form, which I know, like I said, I'm going to try my best to kind of like I said beforehand, I'm still going to use the same voices as usual, but pretty much for like whatever exactly, it's going to take its time and course to know to the explanations, how interesting that's going to sound. But if you guys are excited to know how interesting that's going to look, then yes, it is going to be pretty cool, and it is going to be sick, and it's going to be absolute cinema, which, to be honest with you guys, by the way, it is absolutely going to be cinema, folks. It's going to be peak cinema, by the way, of knowing when Sonic gets to meet the different version of Batman, but it's going to be Shadow the Hedgehog Ultimate Life Form as a different Shadow, which, of course, obviously, like I said, the very most interesting DNAs coming from different hedgehogs, by the way. That's going to probably be, three hedgehogs, one echidna. That's going to probably have two different interesting DNAs, by the way. That's going to only be about like a different character from different universes, which of course I know there's going to be like the different bodies, by the way, but they're just going to probably stay in their suits, by the way, of actually being like their own roles exactly. That's going to be a different versions of themselves, but the same exactly with their color. But the color is different this time, as we can probably say, as we can so-called speak, that I'm actually am willing to kind of get those off of Amazon. And, it's going to be a pretty cool introduction, by the way, to kind of actually have the very most likely interesting Justice League to probably meet with the Sonic characters, by the way, or should I say the Justice Hedgehog League. Yeah, now that would be pretty cooler, by the way, by saying it's the Justice Hedgehog League. Yeah, now that would be pretty cinema right there. That would be absolute cinema, which, like I said, Shadow, by the way, or should I say Shadow Batman, would roll the league of the Justice Hedgehog League. Exactly. He pretty much would have a very good role to run the league, and so would like Super Knuckles Man as well to run the league as well for very good operation reasons, which that would be the coolest thing we would ever see in the long decades of the future that we probably would see exactly is that we'll probably see how interesting the whole setup's going to be like and the whole conversation's going to kind of be like. So, if you guys are looking forward to see the Justice Hedgehog League, which I know this is like referring to the Justice League, like I get that, by the way. I totally understand that moment of that reason. Yes, I understand. But the main other point too for that reason exactly, it's just, a very interesting conversation a little bit. It's just, oh, I don't know, something very cool like and something very devilish like and something very heroic. It would be very heroic and devilish and amazing, as I'd say. Yes, it would be the most amazing move we pretty much would ever see here in the second channel and would ever produce. So, like I said, that would be the coolest thing I would ever admit, by the way, to see how awesome that would sound like exactly. And don't forget, by the way, that yes, I know, like I said, I'm trying to keep my schedule up a little bit and kind of keep the momentum up a little bit and get Wonder Woman in here, which I know Wonder Woman's taking her time a little bit in the Visible Jet, which I know she's not here yet. She just only said that she'll probably be around at some point when she's here exactly. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to take time for her to be in her Visible Jet for a little bit of a while and a long time for her to arrive. So I guess it's going to kind of be a while for Wonder Woman to definitely show up. So I guess we all have to kind of find out and see where this might lead anyway. But if you guys, like I said, are looking forward to know when the whole thing will continue to be amazing, yes. Everything else, like I said, are going to run fantastically. They're going to run very well, and they're going to continue being amazingly well. And for how every character development and every single ones are going to probably be that good, And I did mention on a few live streams ago that there are going to be some cutouts, by the way, which means some characters are going to like get cut out from the role exactly, and they're just going to get cut out a little bit from the camera, which means we can't have like too many characters we can't have too many characters being on many times on every episode. Some of them, like I said, are not going to appear on some of them. Like some characters will full likely appear, but some others may not want to kind of appear on every episode of the season. So it is, like I said, for my only time and announcement to say that there are going to be times in episodes where there's going to be a mention for season 4 stuff. It's just that we're gonna truly just make some ultimate cutouts a little bit and just say, it's like movies and episodes. It's like about the movies and episodes thing. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of working on with a little bit, and just kind of get some characters where they're going to get some cuts a little bit and get a little bit amount of pay a little bit, since of course we're doing pretty well for our 3 seasons being amazing and being gold exactly for what for being worth mentioned exactly and worthwhile exactly. you know all that, like I said, are definitely going to be in development, and all of that are going to pretty much be the best ways as we're going to probably be making more episodes and get more cuts and more awesome stuff. And yes, I'm going to give Sonic and the others some money that I'm going to probably give them for more cuts and a little bit of like some character dropouts, a little bit of some of them just, some of them are going to come back in, and some of them wanting to do the alternative lives a little bit, and just say, for good reasons, by the way, only for good reasons, very fair reasons. So all I can say and all I can tell, by the way, we're just going to kind of find out and see what happens whenever the good things are going to come out to happen. So that is probably my only saying for you guys, and my only regard, by the way, just to mention to the question, is that we're just gonna have to kind of find out and see what happens about when I'll try to make the best cuts happen and make the best things continue to happen. And also, if there is some reason, and for reason, whatever something's gonna come out to be good, we all do know something is actually gonna be good, and something is going to be pretty dope and pretty sick and absolute cinema, by the way. So we're going to try to get some characters out as we can, with more plush characters and new auditions to definitely be coming out, by the way. And remember, as we're going to be mentioning to season 4, by the way, there are going to be more characters that are going to get more and more extra camera time, by the way. Get to have like more camera extra time, just to have more camera time, just to get more auditions for every character, to definitely so, and get a lot more videos out, by the way, so that way we'll try to be able to get more content out, because that's probably the only main reason why we're actually trying our hardest to get more episodes out and more characters going. So that is probably why, my friends, that we're definitely going to continue to have that going and continue to keep this up, by the way, with more stuff happening. So as I would say, by the way, lots of stuff are definitely going to keep on returning, because there are going to be a lot of good things happening, by the way, when real alternatives are going to happen, by the way. For example, we're going to have like many, 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 many characters be in every single episode that will be in season 4. Like, we're putting the good work, like we're going to put all the good work in season 4 and make that as one hell of a spin and make that as a hell of a run. So, we're going to try to get all that included, and we're going to get all that completed and completion, by the way, and get every of them just to be in here exactly, which, like I said, I know there's going to be a lot of characters. We get that. We're going to have lots of characters. We know. We're going to have lots of characters to be introduced, and a lot more characters in development for more stuff. So that is probably why that there's going to be a lot more of them just to be in there exactly, which is the very only good question, that new characters are definitely going to get new appearances. Like, for example, like appearances for, like, we're going to probably get characters that is like King DDD, Chaos Chow, Classic Sonic, Classic Metal Sonic, Iron Man, and Omega E23, and Mythilus the Dark, Classic Tails, and then Classic Knuckles, and definitely Wonder Woman and four more new characters of like the Justice Hedgehog League, which yeah, that's gonna probably be a thing by the way in the Sonic universe that we're gonna call it the Justice Hedgehog League, which is definitely run by Shadow Batman and Super Knuckles Man. So that's pretty much why the league's going to be run like that exactly, which both leaders, by the way, do run the league exactly, even though technically the percent of the credibility goes to Shadow Batman for having a little bit of like having like a bit of like an 80% of him running the league, and pretty much for Super Knuckles Man might run the league for like 60 or 70% of the league. So it's pretty much gonna be like that. So it's pretty much how the credibility is gonna run in the league. So that's all I'm gonna let you guys know about, by the way, and give you guys the full on detail and the understanding reason to why that's gonna probably be a thing, and that's probably gonna be why towards to the facts, but knowing when that's gonna happen. So all I can tell you guys that something good's gonna come to happen and something amazing is gonna be good, and we're just gonna have to kind of find out and see. For the better the results, the better we're gonna find out what's gonna happen anyway. So if you guys again do in fact indeed enjoy the interesting characters are gonna make some very interesting appearances by the way, then yes, all of that by the way are definitely gonna be a show by the way, and appearing, by the way, to have like the very best looks as I will ever will say. And also, is there going to be a very interesting parody video where they're gonna probably be meeting with the headshot with the Justice Hedgehog League? That's gonna be pretty much like Sonic meeting with Shadow Batman. Yes, it is gonna be like the first time that they're ever gonna meet them for the first time. If there was ever a parody video or an episode like the official episode thing, then we're just gonna have to kind of see what the whole thing is gonna be like and what else is gonna probably go on and be like exactly. So until further notice, anyway, we're just gonna have to kind of find out and see what happens anyway. But just giving you guys another interesting update just to see what you guys think of the ideas and think what else is going to probably be for the good and for the most amazing for the better is we're going to have to see what you guys actually think. So until good stuff is going to happen, yes, we're going to have to see what else is going to happen soon. So anyway, that's all I want you guys to know. And also, by the way, I do want to give you guys a bit of another heads up, by the way, and also a heads up as well, just to give you guys a heads up, by the way, that there is going to be a new reveal, by the way, in the recording studio that I'm actually about to reveal to show you guys the new recording studio, which of course I know that it's going to be on every single separate channel, by the way. I get that all the time. I understand that. I know it's like a full-on repeat, like a repeat all the time, but something like I said, I'm definitely going to mention to you guys that I say, by the way, it's going to be something pretty good and something worthwhile to kind of know what the whole deal is going to be about. So we're just going to have to kind of see what happens. And speaking about that anyway, I do want you guys to also know, by the way, that however exactly, that I did want you guys to know that I will probably have a lot of good stuff on with the Steam stuff, by the way. For those who do or don't know about Steam, it's definitely run by Valve. Because for me, I always go on Steam sometimes because, when I always go on Steam, I always go hang out with my Steam friends, by the way. Just play some games and some random games I just want to play. So that's probably why I do that. But sometimes, like I said before, that, I do have a group, by the way, for a name for those who want to join the official group that I actually did want to say, by the way, that the group name is definitely up on Steam, by the way, even though I've not been on Steam for quite a time, which, like I said, that's definitely a time where that's going to be a different tale of a time for a tale. So that's probably why we're definitely just trying to want to make a live stream today here in the 2026. So that way, that I'm just wanting to give you guys the best possible updates we can definitely give you guys already. And also, I want you guys to know, by the way, for those who are missing out on the live stream, then I would again appreciate everyone to kind of actually be in the live stream, by the way. Just join in the live stream and we'll definitely be able to have more conversations, more talks, and more stuff. Exactly yada yada yada. We'll definitely have more conversations. And also, like I said, for those who want to be on top fans, be first in the leaderboard, by showing support, try sending a live chat or super chat. Which also, by the way, of course, that well, want you guys to know again, by the way, for those who might actually want to appear on the leaderboard, known as like the that is known exactly on the like top fans, by the way. Feel free to join on top fans and feel free to have more XPs on top fans better yet better yet on exactly the leaderboard. So I would say it would be appreciated, by the way. It would definitely be very appreciated for everyone else to participate and definitely start caring, by the way, just to kind of like enjoy with more content I'm still wanting to deal with. And there's gonna be a lot of good stuff coming on forward, a lot of stuff coming on ahead, exactly, including the Justice Hedgehog League, which that's definitely gonna be a real thing in the second channel. So for those who might be confused by saying like, isn't that the Justice League? I'm gonna say it's like, no, bro. I actually came up with that myself, and I'm actually am gonna use that just for the thing where this is gonna be a thing for like hedgehogs actually to have like a superhero league that's gonna be run by Shadow Batman and Super Knuckles Man, which yeah, like I said beforehand, I have never kind of actually came up with that name before, but it did pop out of my head soon. I was like, oh, this would be the coolest thing ever. This would be like the coolest thing ever. So that is probably why I decided to kind of wanted to kind of run with that idea and run with it anyway. So that's all I want you guys to understand about. So anyway, as I can tell you guys already, that there are going to be some good things coming on ahead and coming on like pretty much so. And as of how the new recording studio is going to be, I have not revealed the recording studio yet, but I will somehow, like I said, will definitely be able to reveal the new recording studio for the first time for you guys to kind of take a look about the new recording studio. We're just definitely about to kind of announce, by the way, and yes, it will be appearing on live stream, by the way. It'll be on full on live stream. And, we're going to be showing you guys all the plush characters in their bins exactly, which means I'm going to like show all of you guys the plush characters that were there exactly and were safe in their bins exactly. And of course, all characters did remain safe, by the way, in like my official first my official first main channel, by the way, that were definitely explained exactly, and of course it will probably be explained here exactly on the second channel. So if you guys do or don't, feel free to like miss the next live stream opportunity that will be about the recording studio, about the new revealing recording studio, which yes, I'm for one, by the way, I'm going to definitely do that. And two, exactly, I will use another thumbnail that I will try to use, that of course I'm going to use the thumbnail and will somehow, like I said, somehow likely mention, see what else is going to be briefly to be talked about. So anyway, that's all I want you guys to know, and that's all I want you guys to kind of understand the story a little bit and kind of know to why, how interesting the whole thing's going to be like. So, if you guys do actually feel free to be excited for more new awesome content coming right around the corner and a lot more awesome stuff here in the 2026, we're definitely going to have a lot of good things happening. We're going to have like a lot of good stuff going on ahead. Like, a lot of stuff pushing on ahead. So, for those who want to subscribe to the second channel, you guys may be my guests. You may might be my guest. So feel free, like I said, to totally subscribe. That would be appreciated and that would be amazing. So for those who want to subscribe to the second channel, it would be very appreciated and very important for for me to continue my greatest work, exactly my greatest and lively work that I'm actually ever doing. So for those who want to subscribe to the second channel, please, I would definitely would be appreciated and I would be very gladly to be happy just to kind of say that. So for those who might be excited, yes, we're definitely going to be actually having a good time, good mentions, and a lot of good things, many more. So this being said, otherwise, we will see you guys later. And we'll see you guys for the next video. And please remember to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. And remember, if you're the first person that goes into the live stream, you definitely will get a thumbs up, by the way. And I'll say is congratulations for being in the live stream. Which, for the first person who will appear to be in the live stream, that's when I'll say that all the time. And that's when I might say that. So feel free to, like I said, definitely join in the live stream, and that way I'll say congratulations, in a very amazing remotely way. So, that being said, thank you for enjoying this live stream, by the way, and this is yours truly here to be that my name is Devin-Foxy Remastered again. And I will see you guys soon enough. Absolutely in the next time. And of course, maybe another live stream. But like I said, in the next live stream, the next reveal is going to happen, which actually it does mean that I will reveal the recording studio for the first time to give you guys a bit of a very interesting good look on stream and on air, by the way, on YouTube. So if you guys would be free to definitely enjoy what's going to come to be next, by the way, then that's your guys' answers when that thing is going to actually be revealed. The most likely thing to be revealed will definitely be somehow revealed. So it would be appreciated enough for you guys to definitely subscribe, and that would be appreciated. And trust me, like I said beforehand, by the way, will let you guys understandably know that I will charge my phone 100% all the way up, by the way, and show you guys what I really mean, by the way, of the entire recording studio. That will be mentioned about the before versus after, by the way, exactly beforehand. That's going to be after versus before. So if you guys are actually looking forward for that, we'll actually make the conversation as we go, and we'll definitely consider assuming to talk about more of that stuff, even more considering. So that being said, anyways, thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for your guys' time and more appreciation as always, and definitely consider the appreciated always. Thank you. So this being said, everyone, it is time. Like I said, I'm about to go ahead and sign off anyway. And oh yeah, by the way, before anyone does, before I get going, is I will do a very interesting good voice of Super Knuckles Man, by the way, which I know I'm referring to Superman, and I know I'm going to do a good, interesting good voice of the character, which of course I know that this isn't my first time I actually ever do a very interesting character like an alien that's like, that's like the powers of Superman exactly, which I never even done before. Which I know this is going to be like an interesting thing coming from me a little bit from knowing why that would sound interesting is because I never even sound like a very interesting voice that's actually the Man of Steel, or it's going to be the Echidna Man of Steel, or should I say the Echidna Steel or whatever the Man of Steel. That's going to be the Echidna exactly, which I know it's going to be a little hard thing to kind of say nowadays. It's going to be kind of a little hard thing to say, but it's going to kind of be a little bit difficult. But trust me, like I said, we're going to have to find out and see. But I'm going to do a very good interpretation voice between two different combinations of Knuckles and Superman, which is going to probably be very, very interesting. And it's going to be that sick. And it's going to be that cool. So if you guys like the next voice that I'm going to actually have, by the way, that yes, it's going to be introduced in the second channel where I'm actually about to say that I do the voice behind Knuckles the Echidna, Big Knuckles the Echidna, Uganda Knuckles the Echidna, and then now Super Knuckles Man Echidna, which that is going to be insane. Like 4 or 3 echidnas. That would have been pretty cool, in my opinion. That would be pretty cool, in my professional opinion. That would be pretty sick. Like, that would be awesome, man. That would have been awesome. Like, seriously, that would have been amazing. Now, the next question about weaknesses, by the way, I really don't know. I'm not too sure about weaknesses, by the way, but I will try to, like, study about, like, something I can probably study something on a little bit with, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to figure out something else a little bit about between with kryptonite exactly. That's gonna be like a different color, which no, this time it's not gonna be green. It's gonna be a different color or something I'm gonna have to kind of discover about like, oh, what's gonna be the difference between the echidna or Superman that don't like which kryptonite they might not like exactly. Which I know this is going to come from me from different science, which no, I don't believe in science. I only believe in God. So I'm going to say it's like, yeah, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to have to figure it out pretty much and study that a little bit and see what the combination is going to probably be all into Wallop and one and Wallop together. So I guess we'll have to kind of see we're all that's going to kind of know exactly and what it's going to kind of be like exactly. So I'd say, by the way, we're going to have to kind of see what happens anyway. So if you guys enjoy this video, this live stream, this is Devin-Foxy remastered again. And also, please subscribe to my second channel of Golden Devin-Foxy Sonic channel, by the way. Remember now, if you guys want to subscribe, it's the with a golden this time, not with no golden. It's with golden in it with the search. So for those who are new to the second channel, I'd say subscribe, by the way. It would mean a lot of support and a lot more support to support this second channel and continue more and more stuff as we continue a lot more amazingly to continue to do all of that. So if you guys, like I said again, totally subscribe to the second channel, this would be actually the best opportunity for you guys to subscribe. It would definitely mean the world a lot to the second channel. So if I were myself anyway, please again, and I encourage you guys to please subscribe to the second channel. I really do mean it. Again, please subscribe to the second channel. And I'm not begging, I'm just wanting to let you guys know that we really need to get more subscribers to continue. So in order that we need to make more videos, we need you guys as more subscribers to continue to keep going up, so that way it would be more amazing. So yeah, that's all I want you guys to understand about. But anyway, without that being said, this is Devin-Foxy Remastered again speaking, and I will see you guys later. And thank you guys for joining on to this Hangout live stream. So this being said, by the way, I will see you guys later. I'll see you guys next time. So take care, everyone. Have a good day. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing day, y'all. And I will see you later. And I'm definitely about to sign off and head out anyway. So thank you for watching. Take care now. See you later. Goodbye. See you guys in the next video. And of course, I know this is like a still longer video, but not even a longer of an hour. But I'm just going to kind of wrap it up anyway, since I don't think anybody's probably wanting to pretty much show up in the live stream, which is definitely pretty disrespectful in a way, which is definitely disrespectful. But, you know, we all have to be better, by the way. We need to be better than this, everyone. We got to be better. So, you know, if everyone would do that for me, that would be appreciated. And, you know, I would want to be supportive, by the way, for everyone out there to be very understandable. So, thank you. Anyway, this being said now, I will see you later. Sign up, by the way. Time anyways. And remember, by the way, I will see you guys later pretty soon. Absolutely. Till next time. Thank you and see you next time. And remember, give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Thank you. Anyways, see you guys later. Ta-ta, bye-bye, and sign off. Peace. Right on out. Goodbye and see you next time.